right, I did not anticipate making another video about Dark Souls so quickly, but they just released an updated version of the PDF. And since I'm stuck in my basement quarantining with COVID, I figured let's take a look at some of these differences. I have compiled a list of some of the mistakes that the Reddit and Facebook groups have found from the original book. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look and see which, if any, of these have been corrected. And just for fun, to give them a grade, I've assigned a percentage value to each of these errors based on how important I think it is that they get fixed. Things like an item being wrong, they're fairly small because there's so many items within the book, so those have a lower percentage, whereas something large like the position calculations being off, which impacts the majority of gameplay, has a massive percentage assigned to it. So we're going to go through, we're going to see how many of these mistakes have been corrected, how much better they've actually made this PDF. So let's get started. The first thing that I already know, I can already tell you, is that they have added bookmarks. You can see them a little bit on your screen right now, but they have added bookmarks to the game. That is a game changer for this book. It's a fairly large book, and having these bookmarks is going to make it significantly easier for us to find and catalog any more mistakes they might have. So that is already one big plus in their favor. All right, so let's start getting into these real mistakes. Let's go take a look at these origins. The origins were one of the big issues. That's where we found the modifier issues, where things were calculated incorrectly. Let's see if they have fixed that. All right, so here on the bottom, you can see the modifiers for the original version, where you'll see those incorrect modifiers like an int of 10 for the brute having a -1, and the same with the charisma for the fencer. So up at the top, let's go ahead and scroll down. I have not looked at this in advance, so I do not know if it is correct or not. And survey says, oh, they fixed it. They actually fixed it. I did not expect them to fix it. I'll be perfectly honest. I did not think that that was something that was actually going to get fixed. It's a very small thing, but it is still pretty big. Because this was a huge sign that they had not been giving this the attention that it needed. So page 1, we've got these origin modifiers fixed. Let's see if they have fixed number 2 as well. And yep, everything looks fixed there. Let's just compare it. Yep, it looks like they have successfully fixed these origins. All right, but now for what is the major, potentially game-shattering issue, the position calculations. So while we have them here, let's go compare what we have for the origins, because that's where half of the position calculation is handled. So we have position at first level. Okay, and it matches. Position at first level is 6 plus your constitution modifier. Position at higher levels is 1d6 or 4 plus your constitution modifier plus caster level after first. So they did not make any changes to position for the origins. That's not necessarily wrong, because I think that this is the way that it probably should be being calculated. But because this is a brand new mechanic from them, we don't really know. We have to go by what's in the book. We can't go by things that they've said in the past. We have to treat this book as if it is the Bible of how this game should be run. So now we have to compare this to the position section, see if they've corrected things there. I'm going to leave the old PDF here for now, just to have something to look back on to compare how it is calculated on the origins page versus the positions page. Because in theory, the two pages should match in their logic, but they did not previously. So let's go find out if they still don't. All right, here we are at the core rules for the position. Let's scroll down. Let's see. Each character's base position is equal to their current level plus their constitution modifier and the maximum value of the dice in their position pool. Okay, so just from the text, we already have a different way of calculating this. For this, it says that, oh my God. I didn't even notice this when I was looking at the book before, but the text has a completely different way of calculating this. Each character's base position is equal to their current level plus their constitution modifier and the maximum value of the dice in their position pool. Does this mean that if you are level, say, 4, you have 4 position pool dice, so you should be getting, using the caster, since we have that pulled up, d6 times 4, because you get the maximum, 24 plus your constitution modifier plus your level, which would be 4, I guess. So that would give you a total of 12. Okay, well, we got the example coming up. We've got the example coming up, so we'll be able to use that in conjunction with this. So far we have 2 ways of calculating this. Neither of them match. Let's go look at the actual formulas because they had it as a formula. At first level, a character's base position is equal to constitution modifier plus maximum value of their origin's position dice plus current level. That matches what's in the text. It doesn't make much sense because at first level, you know, you're always going to have 1. But if we're treating that as the base formula, and then each time we're increasing it by our level and then getting an extra die, okay, then I can kind of see how that's working. It's weird because usually the constitution modifier is what gets added automatically, but whatever. Okay, so we've got this example here. We have the Knights of 15 plus 2, brute origin, 1d10 at first level has a pool of 13. Great. That is what it looked like before. We're good. At every level after first, when they level up, characters increase their base position as shown below. Current base position plus constitution modifier, so they did not change it at all. It still makes 0 sense. So, according to this, we are then adding our constitution modifier to whatever our base position is. Whereas up here, we literally just read it, is equal to their current level plus their constitution modifier and the maximum value of the dice in their position pool. Nothing in there says that your constitution modifier gets added multiple times, which is what this is saying that we should be doing. At every level after first, we should be adding the constitution modifier again. And if we remember correctly, the example was hilariously bad at math. So when the knight reaches second level, the character's player adds their +3 constitution modifier to their existing base position. As a result, base position is increased to 15. Ugh. Well, they got the math right. Oh wait, no they didn't. Oh my god, it's worse. They tried to fix it. Let me see. I don't need this other page anymore, so let's go here. Let's go take a look. I think they actually made it even more hilarious. Yep, so they corrected the math by adding +2 instead of +4, because originally it went from 13 to 17. Now they have it going from 13 to 15. But they didn't correct the constitution modifier in the example. It still says adding the +3 when the knight has a +2. So they tried to fix it and failed. This is horrible. They did not fix position at all. Position still makes no sense in terms of calculations. We have 3 different ways of calculating how you should get your position. How are we supposed to know which is the correct way? So position, fail. They have not corrected position. Position is still an issue. All right, so starting off, we have the Dancer armor. You'll see here in the old version that it used to have the description of the Katarina armor. And now, hey, it's got the Dancer armor. I mean, it's a special effect of the Dancer armor. And now, for this 1800 souls, you get 16 AC, no strength requirement. Okay, that's pretty good. And whenever wearing Dancer's armor, you cannot be knocked prone by an enemy creature, which is an ability that has nothing to do with the Dancer whatsoever. But okay, at least it is no longer the Katarina armor effect. Next up, we have the Elite armor set. As you'll see here, whenever wearing Shira's armor, you gain +2 to your charisma score. Let's go see what we have here now. Now we have, whenever wearing elite knight armor. All right, they fixed that armor's special effect. And as far as the description still is the same, so hopefully that means it is the right description. All right, so what does the elite armor do? Whenever wearing the elite knight armor, you gain additional temporary position equal to your level at the start of every combat. It's not bad, kind of boring, but it's elite knight armor. What do you want? All right, next we have the fallen knight armor. You'll see here that the fallen knight armor had the elite knight armor effect, where you gain additional temporary position equal to your level. So let's see what we have here. Whenever wearing the fallen knight armor, you gain resistance to fire damage. I never really used the fallen knight armor. Does the fallen knight armor have heavy resistance to fire damage? Yes, it does. All right, I just looked it up, and apparently, yeah, that is something that the Fallen Knight armor did. Resistance to fire, not bad. All right, so here we have the Lothric Knight armor. At first glance, it looks correct until you notice the really terrible editing mistake that they made. Honestly, it's so minor, yeah, I can see it being missed, but it just goes to show that they did not have people proofreading this document thoroughly. Because if you read this, you'll see, whenever wearing the Lothric Knight armor, you gain additional temporary position equal to your proficiency bonus at the start of every combat. What's a combat? Anyway, yes, they left off the T in combat. Let's see, did they bring it in? They did! They even gave us a period! Look at that! As far as the armor goes, they have been fixed. That's great. So let's go take a look at the weapons next. I have a couple weapons here to look at. All right, in a similar error to what we had before, clearly at some point the word attack in the Astora Greatsword Special, you gain advantage on your first attack against it. Clearly at some point that hit the end of a line and they had a dash there to indicate that it continues on the next line. Let's see if they've removed that attack. They did. Look at that. Successful. Another minor correction made. And as I will note, these are all minor fixes. Things that could be done in a moment. That's why these are not worth particularly much individually, but as a whole, this will give a significant boost to the score. All right, this next one is pretty hilarious, I have to say. The Rotten Grew Curved Sword. How much damage does it do? It does C with a little tail under it. I guess that just means it immediately kills you because you glitch out from having a weird character in your character sheet. Because let me tell you, can't search for that in my PDF at least. But let's see if they've actually given it a damage value. They have! Now it does 1d6 slashing damage. I have no idea how they got that error in their PDF, but at least they fixed it. At least you can now use this weapon without glitching out your game and having your save wiped. We've taken a look at the items. Let's take a look at one more fairly major rule that had a pretty significant but easy to miss error. Bonfires. Bonfires are a core mechanic in Dark Souls, the game, and in the RPG. So how do they work? Well, looking down at the original, when a character dies, the player character will reawaken sometime later at the site of the last bonfire they visited. Okay, that makes sense. That's the way it works in the game. We continue down a little bit. When a character dies, they lose all their souls, blah, 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 they awaken, blah, 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 determining the nearest bonfire. Wait, why does the nearest bonfire matter? If more than half the party of a player character are killed, they have failed. The whole party must respawn at the nearest bonfire and all of the party lose their souls. Okay, so wait, do you respawn at the nearest bonfire or the last bonfire rested at? Well, maybe if you die as a solo person, you're the only one to actually go down, you respawn at the one that you rested at. But in this special case where half the party dies, you all respawn at the nearest one, just to keep them grouped together in case they rested in different times, right? That makes sense. That could be a way. Except in the old book, it says in the Bonfires and Estus refills section, when you die, you'll wake up at the nearest bonfire, directly contradicting what they said earlier in the book, that you awaken at the last bonfire you rested at. This is a huge contradiction and another sign of poor editing and proofreading. Did they fix that? Well, let's find out. When you die, you'll wake up at the nearest bonfire, able to start again. Nope. They did not. Do we respawn at the nearest bonfire, or do we respawn at the one that we last rested at? Huge difference in gameplay, guys. One of them matches the game that you say you're trying to emulate. One of them doesn't. So which is it supposed to be? Because you're leaving it now to the players to decide which they're going to do. And that's not the way that this should be. The rules should be clearly spelled out. And this is a primary mechanic of your game. So unfortunately, the bonfires have still not been fixed. All right, so looking at my chart, we have fixed the bookmarks, the origin modifiers, all of the armor issues, and we have not fixed the position calculation and bonfire rules. So what we've actually corrected are the minor things that get layered on top, and what we've ignored are the major issues of the game itself, the mechanics that make the game work. Guys, I don't know what to tell you. Because the bonfire thing is pretty minor and you can easily make the call one way or the other, I reduced that down to a 15%. But even with that, the position is a major mechanic of the game as far as how much it should actually matter for this. And I'm sorry, but this book is still not ready. Which version are we even going to get? Are we going to be getting that first version that you sent out as a PDF? Or are we getting this one with some of these errors fixed? I can't wait to get my book and see just what errors show up. So make sure you subscribe if you want to see me tear that book apart. I'm going to go page by page. I'm going to see everything that is wrong with that. That's probably going to be a long video. It's going to take me a long time to make, so I would really appreciate it if you guys would subscribe, like, whatever, and come back when that happens. All right, thank you for tuning in. I'm Game Master George, and remember, there's gaming outside the Forgotten Realms. And Lothric, please leave Lothric.